Yeah, the word we are getting is that this deal has been agreed to in principle. The Clippers are going to send Eric Gordon, Al-Farouq Aminu, Chris Kaman, and the Minnesota 2012 unprotected first-round pick. The Hornets will get all that. The Clippers get back Chris Paul, 2 future second-rounders, and by all indications, this trade will be formally approved by night's end.
Why did this work now?
Well, first of all, once the Clippers made the decision to put both Gordon and that Minnesota pick in the deal, that's the clincher. That's what the league wanted. They really wanted a good young player in Gordon that the Hornets could roll forward with, but also to get that Minnesota unprotected pick, which could be number 1, depending on the lottery, in what's projected to be a really strong draft. The league officials who are running the Hornets felt like that was a trade package that really gave the Hornets something to roll forward with, something to have a future with, and that's what clinched the deal. The Clippers had been resisting. They didn't want to give up both Gordon and that Minnesota pick. They only wanted to give up one. But the Clippers are trying to keep Blake Griffin in town, so they felt like they had to do it now. Chris Paul is going to opt in to the last year of his deal, so the Clippers will have him for 2 years. He won't be a free agent until 2013, so the Clippers now basically have 2 years to try to convince Chris Paul and Blake Griffin to commit there long term.
Mark, is this part of the reason that they did hold Paul out of the media day sessions this afternoon?
Honestly, no. I think at that point everything was still up in the air. There were actually there was some rumblings earlier in the day that the Lakers were making a really strong play this morning, as there was a 4-team trade scenario where it looked like the Lakers might actually get Chris Paul. But basically, the league gave Chris Paul a pass on media day and just didn't want to put him in a situation where he had to answer a bunch of questions that he simply couldn't answer. So they held him out, didn't make him talk, and now he's getting what he wants. The Lakers and Knicks were his first choice, but if he couldn't get to the Lakers and he couldn't get to the Knicks, he wanted to get to the Clippers. Why? Because of the chance to play with Blake Griffin. The Clippers, obviously, if you look at their history and with Donald Sterling there, this has not been a destination franchise, but Blake Griffin has changed the way people think about the Clippers. And a lot of people want to play with Blake Griffin. They have a lot of good pieces there still, even with everything they gave up in this trade. They just re-signed DeAndre Jordan. They have Chauncey Billups now. They signed Caron Butler in the offseason. So I think for the next 2 years, Chris Paul figures, put me next to Blake Griffin and let's see what we can do.
So then where do you think this trade puts the Clippers in the West?
Well, they've made a lot of moves. I have to think they'll be pretty dangerous. Blake and Griffin should be a devastating combo. I think DeAndre Jordan becomes a more effective big man with a passing point guard like Chris Paul. The West is actually in flux right now because so many good players have moved to the East in recent years. There really is an opportunity to move up quickly. We saw that last season with the Memphis Grizzlies. Nobody was talking about the Memphis Grizzlies going into last season. They knock out San Antonio in the first round and now have a really good future. After years and years of West dominance, if you get the right pieces together, you can move up the ladder fairly quickly.
Mark Stein with the latest on the Chris Paul trade to the Clippers.